Welcome to the first video episode for LogicProUser.com. My name is Jason Burns, I'll be your host, and I thought I'd start this off with a little tour of my setup, give you a little information about what I do with music, but also kind of set the ground rules for what this site's supposed to be. So, I'm a rocker. I like to record metal, you know, good old Foo Fighters kind of rock, pretty much anything, everything. I do some soundtrack work for my wife who does video production, which could be anything from dance to kind of Nine Inch Nails kind of stuff. So I kind of run the gamut, and I started as a Pro Tools user, and when I got kind of burnt out on constantly upgrading my hardware, I switched to Logic. I started with Logic Express and just recently switched to Logic Studio. So I'm going to give you a little tour of what I use here and how it works for me, and then we'll talk a little bit about what the site's for. So this is my basic studio setup. What you see here is a Mac Pro. It's an Apple Mac Pro. It's 2 quad-core Xeon processors running at 2.8 gigahertz. It has 6 gig of RAM. It's running OS 10.5 Leopard, and it has Logic Studio on it. My audio interface is the Yamaha O1X. It's an integrated interface, 8-channel, actually can be up to 24-channel depending on the expansions that you add to it, as well as fully automated control surface. I do my monitoring through, I use a Presonus HP4 to give me 4 headphone outs, as well as mix the monitor sound for the KRK Rocket 5 monitors. And I use a pair of AKG K240 headphones when I need to be quiet. I also have up here, you'll see a Rode NT1A studio condenser microphone that I use for vocals, which also runs into a Presonus Tube Pre before it hits the Yamaha board. I have a MacBook Pro for when I need to record mobile. I sequence drums using a Roland TD3SW kit. Right now there's no modifications from it, except for I don't use the Roland sounds. I actually trigger a software application called EZdrummer, and I've added the drum kit from Hell, and probably very soon adding a Superior Drummer 2.0 upgrade. As far as Logic goes, the only plugin I've added to it other than the EZdrummer is the Melodyne vocal plugin. I use that to make edits to my really poor vocals, as well as the Line 6 Pod Farm. I have a actual Line 6 Pod XT Pro, which I usually record scratch guitar tones with that, but I also record a dry, and it's linked to what you see back here, which is the little tone port, which is authorized with the Gearbox and the Pod Farm plugins, so you get really good tones. Guitar wise, I have my trusty Les Paul. There's a guitar that's not really even put together right now. I have my Strat. I have, back in the corner behind that, you can barely see, there's a 7-string Ibanez, as well as a 4-string Ibanez bass, an Ovation acoustic, a Schecter Omen 6-string, and my favorite quilted top Ibanez RG 6-string. So that's my basic setup. If you'll notice, I have other computers over here because I firmly believe, as well most people will tell you, that you do not do anything but audio on your audio computer. It's just good practice. So there's my other computers I use for goofy stuff. Microphone wise, I have a few other microphones laying around that you use when you need to do different things. And that's pretty much it. I have a compressor down there I very rarely use because it's not very good. Some other additional headphones, I think those are Sennheisers maybe? AKG as well, sorry, AKG as well. And that's the basic setup. So, let me put it back on the stand and I'll wrap this thing up. So what is LogicProUser.com for? Well, I think that there's a huge community, and after looking on YouTube, especially today, I found a lot of really good hip-hop producers, dance producers, rock producers, every other kind of thing. And when I say producer, I mean home studio producers that are doing really cool work with Logic Studio. So when you're getting started and you're kind of getting around, a lot of times you don't know how compressors work and you don't know how to really use a limiter, and you're trying to get your tracks up and you're not really sure about tracking vocals and using preamps and all that kind of stuff. So the goal here is to share tips, So if you have cool stuff that you're doing with Logic, you know, you can upload videos and we'll share those on the site. If you want to do a tutorial, if you want to do your own video blog kind of thing, that's fine. If you'd like to guest post, contact me at jason@logicprouser.com. If you are into just creating, you know, cool stuff with Logic, whatever it may be, that's the goal of this site. So I actually really look forward to getting out there and communicating with people. I can see lots of ideas for fun projects where we can, you know, share things around the internet, and, you know, I lay a few tracks, you lay a few tracks. Could be a little of anything. So welcome to logicprouser.com.